Hello, everybody. I am so glad to have you here. It's another Thursday, and we are getting ready to run with scissors, my weekly craft live stream that has just been so much fun for the last year. I've had a great time working with you guys, and I'm so looking forward to continuing with all of this fun, crafty stuff that we do every week. I'm glad to see that we have some new visitors today. So hello to Mary. She signed up for our virtual private class at the end of the month, and I'm so excited that she's going to be joining us, and I'm glad that she's here today. So if you see Ruby Lily out there, that is Mary. She is joining us for obviously not the first time today, but I'm glad to have her along with the rest of the crew. So hello to everyone else. I'm so glad you're all out there. Don't forget that you can give me a good thumbs up for this video and also share it out to your friends, especially while we're live so they can join in. Of course, they're always welcome to catch the replay and join in on another live event. It's just really great to get these out there and share with the world all of the fun, crafty stuff that we're doing every week. So I appreciate it when you do share and when you give this video a thumbs up. All right, so let's roll into some updates and giveaway information. Oops, the wrong screen. Yes, you know this is what we're doing today. Where did I want this? I wanted that there. Okay. How about some announcements? All right. Oh, Becca, you're not late. We are just getting started. So I'm glad you're here. Anyway, some announcements. As you know, this month, it's the new month of May. We are working with Concord and Knight's Painted Petals Turnabout. This is actually a kit that they're offering right now. So if you've never used a turnabout before, or if you've never used some of Concord and Knight's products, this is a really great kit to get because it comes with not only the stamp and the die set, it comes with some extras that you need to do turning successfully, and also comes with some of their inks, which is fantastic. It's a great little bundle. I also noticed that it is available at scrapbook.com as well, so you can get it from both places, and I think I have both of those listed below in the description. So that is what we're doing this month, and of course we still have some registrations available for the virtual private workshop on the 26th. That is a Wednesday afternoon from 1 to 3 US Central Time. And if you're not able to make it, you will get access to the replay and the full color PDF for the entire month's worth of projects. So it's a really great value, and we have a really great time crafting together on that afternoon. All right, so, oh, and I should mention that, like, if you're not comfortable being on screen or whatever, you can always join with just the audio and craft along with us. You don't have to be like all live with a video camera or anything, but most people really enjoy getting to see each other face to face, and that's really truly what the best part of this is that it's not just me talking to you and you typing back. It's us getting to see each other and craft virtually as if we were in the same room together. It's really great, and you can wear your pajamas. It's fantastic. All right, so the May Sketch Starter Challenge. So it was supposed to open on Monday, but we had an Alta New release, and then I also forgot. Oh, you know, things just catch up with me. So it will be open this Monday, if not earlier. I'm hoping to have it maybe up tomorrow or Saturday, but I will guarantee you it will be available on Monday. So that will give you the rest of the month to practice and work with the sketches and upload your projects. And the more you upload, the more chances to win a $15 Alta New gift certificate. So that will be available very soon. Paula, we are not all, oh, you're all booked for the class. Yes, you are. I'm so glad you're going to be there. I was gonna say, I'm not all booked. We've still got some seats left, so grab those. Let's see. So June, we decided that we're going to do a mix and match month. So I'm going to take all of the sets from January through May and create new projects mixing and matching all of those stamp sets together. So if you've been following along since January and you have all of these stamp sets, we're going to dust them all off and use them all over again with some new techniques and some really creative ways to use them all together. So I hope you enjoy it, because they're going to be some really, really fun projects. And of course, we'll do a private workshop for that as well, where you'll get even more bang for your buck because you'll get more projects using all of those stamp sets together. All right, so hi Penny. I know you are. I'm sure you're still in your PJs. It's so early over there. I really, every time I see you on a live stream or in a virtual workshop with me, I just really commend you for getting up early to do this. It's just wow. I mean, I know my eyes are still closed at that time of the morning, and for you to get up, it must really mean a lot to you for that creative release. And I think that's fantastic. So yay, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so last thing on this one, of course, as always, and I know I say this every time, so if you're like tired of hearing it, too bad. There's new people out there that I always want to remind them that this content is free, and I offset this free content by the earnings that I receive as an affiliate. So the links down below and the link that is pinned in the live chat are affiliate links, and that means that when you click on them and you shop, when you check out, I might receive a small commission from the company that you've been shopping with, and that's at no additional cost to you. And that little bit of commission that I get adds up penny over penny, and I get to, use that to purchase products to share with you in classes and for giveaways and all those kinds of things. So really the money that I'm earning from that goes right back into what you're getting here. And I do appreciate every time you use those affiliate links to shop. And I know every other affiliate crafter out there appreciates when you use their links too. So spread the wealth, sometimes use my links, sometimes use someone else's links, and everyone will get a little bit here and there. All right, so let's see, what do we have next? Okay, so each month, after every live stream, I ask you to try the project yourself. So when you try the projects, I love to see them out on social media. So I ask you to hashtag me at Pixel Mavens Retreat, so I can see your projects, and then I share them here. And then at the end of each month, I pick out 4 winners randomly selected to win the cards that I've been creating over the whole month. So the first, I'm going to share with you the plethora of designs that Penny shared with us this month. Actually, this last couple of weeks. So she was really inspired and created like a ton of backgrounds. She shared them with us during our live stream. And so I was hoping that she would be posting a whole bunch of projects on Pinterest, which is her preferred place to post. And see, she tags me here, this at Pixel Mavens Retreat. And that's how I know that, that she's been posting. I get a little notification up here that tells me that someone has linked my name. And so she's been creating with all these fantastic smush backgrounds that she's been doing. So here is one. I mean, and I've got like a pile of them. Here's another one. It's fantastic. Really, really great job. I love the way that she used the same color, like complementary at the bottom with that Distress Dots stamp image from last month's stamp set. Really fabulous. Next one, random background with some squares and that leftover just because from one of our classes last month. Here, this one, I love this card, Penny. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. So I did one card last month where we used the new Tim Holtz embossing glaze. And so when you use the embossing glaze, you can see color underneath. And she didn't have that. So what she did was she stamped the 2 colors with the dots, or used the bubble wrap stencil, right? And she kind of offset and made a really cool look. But then she used fire brick with a different stencil, okay? And then she put clear embossing powder over that. It's fabulous. I love this card. I would love it if you sent it to me. You don't have to, but I really, really love this card. Okay. Next one, these are the results from Penny in the class, the private class that we did last month. So that was just last week. All right, so here's her cards from those. Beautiful, beautiful. I had to laugh because I noticed that your flowers, your leaf fronds go the opposite direction of mine. Not that that matters. I mean, you do whichever direction you want. I just thought it was kind of funny. And then we've got, this one is another card that we did. Beautiful work. And the third card that we did together. And we did 4 cards, and so she's got all 4 of them there. Because the backgrounds were a little more simple, we were able to sneak in 4 cards. And I think they're fabulous. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your class results. These are awesome. But she's not done. There's more. I also talked with you last week about organizing your scraps. So here is Penny's before. And I think this one is, here's Penny's after. Before, after, before, after. Penny, fabulous job organizing your scraps. I'm glad that I could be a source of inspiration for you on that one, right? Fabulous. Excellent. And there's more. So here are some backgrounds from her newly created scraps bin, where she used some of her extras and other bits and bobs from the die set to create some gorgeous cards. This is a fantastic background. I need to read a little bit more and see if you've got, oh, the layered medallion A and B stencil. I don't have that one, and now I need it. I didn't even know we had this in the Alta New lineup, and now I need to have it. Okay. Here's another one. This is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. And another one. This is a leftover negative image. Gorgeous. Just plopped right on the background. It looks fabulous, even without a sentiment. You could add a sentiment later, or you could just leave it as is. Sometimes it's really nice to send a card without a sentiment. And then, okay, I promise this is this is Penny's last. This is fabulous too. Gorgeous. All right, so obviously Penny's in the running for some cards this month because she did all of that awesome stuff. And here are our case winners. So like I said, I picked, and actually we just had Anne, Cece, and Penny were the only three that I found with some samples out on social media, either on Instagram or Pinterest. I didn't see any on Facebook. So all three of you are getting cards, and I will package up some cards for you and send them out to you post haste. Please do send me your address if I've never sent you cards before. Cece, I don't know that I have your address, so please do send that to me. All right, and Anne and Penny, I got your digits, so we're good. So as we move into today's project, take note, learn a little bit, and then go ahead and share out on social media. Tag me at Pixel Mavens Retreat, and that way I will see them and share them live. Now, if I happen to miss it one week, let me know, like send me an email or something, and then just send me a link to your projects and I'll grab them for the next week. Since we're kind of doing this like across the whole month, I can grab them and share them the following week. All right. Sounds good. Okay. So today we're learning to turn. If you've never used a turnabout, you will be amazed by how this works. It's so cool. I love all of their turnabouts. I've even made some on my own with like other non-turnabout sets, and they work out really great. But in the kit, you get all sorts of great things, including this Learn to Turn. So if you want to keep this as a instructions booklet, it's totally worth keeping. Okay, so let me flip over to my hands here. All right, so with this, you got the instruction booklet, you got a full-size eraser. I always cut mine down into quarters so that way, because see how they get all yucky like this? It's easier to clean up these corners and like cut off the yucky ends as I go, and then you'll actually use the whole thing. And then I grab another quarter, and a quarter of this will last me forever. All right, you're also going to get, if you haven't got already, you're going to get the 4-pack of colors. Now, as you know, peacock is our favorite, isn't it, Paula? We'll see how blue my hands get today. And then, of course, you're getting the stamp and the die, and you're getting a couple other things in this kit. Oh, and also, don't forget about the double-sided adhesive. I use this for other things, so this is a really, really handy tool to have in your kit. It is made by Scrapbook Adhesives, and you can get refills for this. So you see how, watch, it's not going to open for me. Yeah, see, it comes apart, and you can get these refills. Definitely worth it. They sell them at scrapbook.com. I'm sure they have them at Simon. I'm sure they have them at Bumbleberries, maybe over the pond. All right, so this is really awesome. And when you, some people always ask about my photography. When you've got a card that like doesn't want to close as you're trying to do a top view, I just use a little bit of this adhesive on the inside to keep my cards closed. And that really helps out with photography too. Okay, so that's just a little tip. All right, and then we've got these two little things. I'm going to show you how to use those. All right, so let's get down to the meat and potatoes today. Here is our card. Now, the group that we had last week for our virtual workshop, you saw this card already, and this was supposed to be a card for the workshop. However, after looking at them, I was like, you know, this is going to be kind of a boring workshop. So I pulled this one from the lineup. I changed up a couple of things. So as I said during the workshop, I'm subject to change. It's definitely subject to change. We're doing only one of the original cards that I showed you and 2 brand new ones. Haha. Oh, no, wait. 2 cards, and then I circled in a new one, but I think you're really going to love it. But I pulled this one out because this is classic. This is really going to show you how to use these colors with the Turnabout and create something using everything in the Turnabout kit and just a couple little extras. Okay. So let's talk about turning. I've got a card base here, and I'm not actually, normally I would stamp on a separate piece and then put it on the card base, right? But I'm actually going to stamp on my card base today. It's okay to do that. As long as the ink isn't going to seep through the card base, it's totally cool to do that. All right, so now I've got all of these mystical things. If you don't know how to use a Turnabout, it might be a little confusing to you. Okay, so the key here is having a MISTI, and I think if you have one of the presses, which actually I decided I'm going to get because I want to get a, I want to be able to do some like progressive stamping, and a MISTI doesn't really work so well for that. So I think I might get one, and I think Becca, you have one, like one of those press stamp positioners. So I'm going to be looking into those. All right, but so for now I'm using my original size MISTI. The mini MISTI is a little too small for this. So that's something that you need to know is that, see, this is like a 6" by 6", and the mini MISTI is a little too small. Okay, so Miss Tamp is paying attention so hard. Okay, not hard. Okay, so you got this thing here, and it says this side up and center rotation point. Now we used to have to like make our own, but you don't have to do that anymore because it comes with it. It seems the Turnabout needs the top left edge to work. No, so if you've got a press, it just needs to be able to press in the same position every time because it's square. Okay, so that's like the Turnabout jig is square. So even if you've got not a square piece of cardstock, it's going onto a square base so that every time you turn it, it's square. All right. The Tim Holtz one will work as well as long as it's large enough to fit this particular stamp. Okay, so this Turnabout is a huge stamp, and this is only 1/4 of the images. All right, so you can see that they're kind of spaced around, and this is only 1/4 of them. So every time you turn, you're adding in 1/4 of the image. So what you're going to do is you've got your this sheet here, and it's this side up. So this side up, and then you're going to match up your stamp to the sheet here. Okay, and it's kind of important to get it matched up as close as you possibly can because when you turn it, you want to make sure that like your images aren't overlapping each other. Yeah, so Becca, I think that's the one that I'm going to be checking out. All right, so I've got this lined up. You see how it's all lined up perfect. Now I can grab it with my lid. The one thing that I have noticed is you see how there's all this like empty space in between? You don't want it to bubble up. So once you take your lid over, you're going to take this piece off. You are now done with this for this particular stamping session. What I like to do is press this inside bit here so that it's really stuck to the lid and that there aren't any air bubbles in there. All right. Yeah, Becca, see, I like that idea too. So I'm definitely going to be looking into that, and I think it will be like an alternative to using the MISTI. Like I won't stop using the MISTI, but it's something that I would use as an alternative. Okay, so now my stamp is in place. Okay, I've set my layout sheet aside. Now I've got this piece. This is called the Turnabout jig, and it's got numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 all the way around. Actually, there's no 4. That's kind of weird. And then it also has these little lines here, and it's got a center spot. Okay, you see all those? Those are important. I'm going to zoom in for this part so you can see a little better. Okay, I'm going to set this aside for just a minute. Okay, so with the jig, You see, if I put this down here, you see what's happening? So those little cutouts are for your A2 size card, so 4¼ by 5½. And then there's other ones here for like a landscape card. All right, it really doesn't matter for this particular stamp set. Like, actually, it doesn't really matter, I don't think, for any of them, because at some point, something's going to be upside down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my temporary adhesive and put a little bit on the inside of my card. All right, so I've got just a little bit on there, and that's going to help keep my card closed. So if you're going to do this with a card base that's folded, that's how you want to do that. Then I'm going to take more of this adhesive and put a couple of little strips right on this jig. It's a matte finish, so your card is going to, this is actually going to stick on here just fine. All right, so remember which side is your open side. Again, I don't really think it matters as long as, yeah, it doesn't really matter. All right, and I'm going to align it up with those little notches like so. All right, so now I have my card temporarily attached to my jig, and I'm ready to start stamping. Okay, so let me back up a little bit here. Okay. Are we good? Has everyone understand that so far? Hopefully you do. Okay, so now this is square, and sometimes it's hard to find a magnet, a place for your magnet, but there's always like a little gap somewhere. So this is where my magnet's going to go, always, is like right here, because I'll never be stamping in that position. All right. So here we go. I'm going to start with my, it doesn't really matter what order you do these in, because they're all going to end up random. All right. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to go like from light dark, I guess. We'll do peacock last. So I'll start with grapefruit. If you want, you know, I've been using my Ulta New stamp conditioner, or my, you know, just a regular eraser on here to help make sure that I get really good stamp coverage. And I do this every time just to make sure that this is nice and milky white and ready to receive ink without bubbling up. For your old Turnabout CC, they didn't have these. Sometimes I think they have some that you can buy separately now, or like in a bundle. But what you used to do was take a 6x6 piece of acetate or something. You used to put an X in the center, kind of like this. There was a way to line it up. It was in the packaging. I can't remember exactly what it is. I'll have to look and see if there's instructions on their site on how to do it with old stamps, because there was another way that you had to do it. And then they got smart and started sending them with these line up acetate sheets. Okay. These, the jig, you can buy separately. So if you need a jig, you can get another one, or if you don't have a jig and you want to do one and you don't have time to wait for a jig, just cut your cardstock 6x6, and then it will be square and it'll go around perfectly every time. Okay. Or the same size as the stamp. Usually they're, usually these are 6x6. So if you do it a piece of 6x6, then you'll have no problem. All right. So, and next week I'll show you that. I'll have a piece that's 6x6, and then you won't have to, you won't use the jig. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to do some grapefruit. Now there's like all this space in between. So this is where I was telling the workshop participants that this is has the potential to get a little inky, because when you're putting your ink on here, you're getting it on all these little center pieces as well. So just kind of be careful. All right, so that's one time around, and if you want it darker, of course, you can add a little more ink. Okay, so just give me like a me or something like that if this is your first time using a Turnabout stamp. Let me know. Is this your first time? Okay, so this one is done. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. So see, the number 2 is up. Again, I'm going to put my magnet in that same place because it's not going to get stamped. And so now you see this is going to fill in another empty space. Oh, excellent, Mary. So yeah, if you're trying it along with me, let me know if you're running into problems as you go. Okay, so the second color I'm doing is Stardust. Also, share out your projects. Even if you don't finish the project and you just get the turnabouting complete, share it out. I want to see how you guys are doing with it. And then if you have any questions that I can address, let me know. Okay, so here comes our second color. This is Stardust. And now you can see that it's fitting into a space. Sometimes, just kind of depending on what the image is, it looks very geometric as it goes down. Other times it looks very random. And I think with the flowers, it gives a very random look, which is really great. All right, so I am kind of double stamping. All right, so again, you have to wipe off your... This is where you see how like inky this gets because I've got all this extra ink in the center here. That's where you're going to get blue fingers. So I find that a microfiber cloth is really great for this process because you just get it damp, you wipe it off, you leave it to the side, you're good to go for your next turn. Okay, so here we are turning 90 degrees again. The number 3 should be up. Again, putting our magnet in that same place, making sure that it's not going to get hit. All right, so now we're into the blues. We're going to do Aqua Sky. I am not sure if I think it's easier to use the small cubes or to use the large pads. I do have the large pads, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I have a little more control with the little blocks. Ta-da! So now we're into yet another space. All right. Let's see what we got going on there. Beautiful. You could leave it just like this, even with these empty spaces in here. It looks gorgeous. All right, so but we're going to turn it one more time to the number 4 side. And I don't know where my number 4 went. I thought there was a 4 on there, but maybe mine's misprinted. All right. And then we're going to go into Peacock. I didn't wipe it off, but going from Aqua Sky to Peacock is not a big deal. Okay, so I'm going to go into Peacock. And here comes our favorite dark and messy color. Yay! Just have to keep your fingertips away from the edge here. Oh, I missed a spot. There we go. And we'll press. And I do want to get this just a little darker. So, but you see how like there's all this extra blue in here. So when I go to wipe this off, it's going to be messy. Oh yeah, so the wreath builders are kind of a similar concept where you keep turning it and it's got the little jig that you use. Same kind of idea, Sue. All right. And that's a Gina K thing, right? Or are there other companies that do that too? All right, see, look at all that blue. And then I got it on my hands. Not too bad. All right, here we go. One thing I will mention is that you see how you've got ink on the sides here? Don't get kind of crazy and wipe it off as you go because you might get your paper wet and you just don't want to bother with that. So just be careful if you've got ink overlapping here. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to wipe off my edges here. Now with the double-sided adhesive that's left over on here, let's see if it'll focus on that. You see it? It just balls right off. And that's the nice thing about this being a matte finish, is that the temporary adhesive comes right off. All right. So that is now clean and ready for next use. We're done with this guy. Ooh. You can go back on his carrier sheet. They're really creative about how they fit everything on here, don't you think? All right. So that guy goes back there. And now we've got some adhesive on here. You can rub this off with your fingers. It will rub off. Sometimes it leaves little raised bumps. And then with what you have on the inside, if you chose to do a whole card, just gently pry it open. All right, and then you can either rub it off again with your fingers. If your fingers are dirty though, or you're afraid about getting it dirty, you can use the adhesive remover, and that's just going to help ball all of that up and get that off of the inside of your card. All right. This is not a permanent tape, but I have done photos where I have left the tape on the inside of this, and then I've come back like 2 months later and been like, oh, I forgot to take that off. And it does leave like the little raised bumps on it. So just remove it as soon as possible, and you don't have to worry about it. And that's that. So there we go. Now we have turned. Excellent. Oh no, a hot mess. Okay, so Mary, as you practice, share with me a before and after. I'd love to see your first try and then a successful try. I'm sure you will get it. If not, let me know, and I'll see if there's some other things that I can help you with to try to get you a little more successful with it. Okay, so that's kind of like, that's the hardest thing. All right, so now we just need to do some other stamping, and I'm going to do just some blocks, I think, for these, because they're easier that way. So we've got flowers, and I'm going to do those up in Aqua Sky. If you want to do a look like this, you need a little sponge dauber. So if you want one that has like a little bit of the peacock in there, we'll go ahead and ink it up with the Aqua Sky, and then take a little bit of peacock with the sponge dauber and just dab a little bit in the center. And there, so it's got a little bit of the peacock in the center and then the Aqua Sky on the outside. All right. Oh, and then I need a leaf. So the leaf is on the end here. I'm going to do the leaf in peacock. We don't really have a green for this ink set, so we'll do some leaves in peacock. And then I need one of those little flower bunches. Yeah. I'm going to do that in Stardust. Okay. So those guys are ready to go. I might have got this a little close, but it's going to get die cut and then stuck behind, so I'm not worried about it. All right, so I've got those ready to go. This is a piece of 4x4 cardstock. Oh, yep, could be, Mary, that you didn't condition well enough. That could happen. Okay, so for this piece, I'm going to die cut this guy. I love that this die set comes with, okay, two really cool things. One is this little bit here that's going to cut out all of your sentiments at the same time. That's awesome. It has really great script sentiments, but then it's got a stitched circle. Gosh, I love a stitched image. Yes, yes, yes. Actually, first I'll stamp the deer on here, and then I'll know where, I guess you could do it before or after. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to pop out some obsidian black. Use any black that you like for this. All right, I'm not going to do the yellow dots until I've got the whole thing put together. All right, but this is going to go like so. So we're going to do that, and then we've got these guys. I'm going to have to go through twice on the flower because there's only one flower die. I guess I should have left that out. And this is the kind of die that I always have to go like around and around until I figure out where it goes. So that, and then we'll pop this one on here. And then the leaf. So that all goes through, and then the hello. So today I'm going to do the hello without the double-sided adhesive on the back, and then in other live streams I'll use it with the adhesive. That way you get a chance to see how you can do it either way. All right, so these all need to go through. I need to get this flower, so stand by. Yeah. Okie doke. Let's see, what have you been chatting about? All right, Penny, have a good day at work. We'll see you next time. All right, dies. Got my sentiment here. I've got my round circle. Oh, still need those. And on my other little bits. So I've got 2 flowers, a leaf, a little bouquet, my hello, and my circle. Excellent. So now we are just into some assembly. Okay, so if you don't have double-sided adhesive sheets, that's a-okay. Just gonna pop those out. So if you don't have double-sided adhesive sheets, you need to have a liquid glue because the tape runner just really doesn't work so great because you'll get that all over. So with the liquid glue, I really like to control it and get just the tiniest little dots because you really don't need a whole lot. Like that's like way too much that I have going on there. All right, so, oops. I'm actually going to use my hand here and get rid of some of that. All right, so if you want to smear it around a little bit with your finger, you can. Ideally, the drops are small enough that you don't have to do that. All right, just going to grab it by the center L and place it so that it kind of nests together with the deer. There you go. Ta-da! Okay, so we've got that. Now I've got these little guys, and I'm going to create a little, kind of a little bouquet with them. And I really am in love with this little bouquet. And so we're just going to do that again. So I've got my, oops, got my little bit of flowers here, and I'll put the leaf kind of on top, overlapping. All right, so you see how that is fitting together there. Zoom it. All right, so that's the first step. And then we'll go ahead and take one flower. Actually, I guess I could have put this down first because it needs to tuck under the leaf. So try to tuck that under the leaf. Kind of like so. And then the next flower is just going to go right on top like so. All right, so there's our little bouquet. And I'm going to pop that right on here. It can overlap the H. That's okay. I know some people don't like things that are touching each other. But in this case, you can cover up a little bit of the H and people are still going to know that it says hello. All right, so now I've got a nice little element here. See, I've got a little bit of extra glue here. I can grab my glue eraser. I always pull off these little extra bits that have like gummed up. Try to get the corner that I'm going to use as clean as possible. And just use that to wipe that up. I only use the adhesive remover after the glue has dried. You don't want to try using this when the glue is wet. It will smear and tear and do all sorts of terrible things. Okay. But I'm using one of those like all the time. Okay, so this is going to pop on the card, but I wanted to add some extra detail. I happen to have this silver thread. This I actually got from Stampin' Up. I really, really, really like it. I think they still carry it. If they don't, the Alta New thread is really nice, but you have to split it into the different threads because it's a 3-ply. And I really like it as a smaller, thinner thread. So what I did is I just wrapped a whole bunch around my fingers here. And I make sure that I'm holding on. See, I'm holding on to the ends. Like so. So now I have a beautiful little round of these guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this one, you can use a lot of different things. You can use a little piece of double-sided tape if you want, or a piece of washi tape even works. A piece of the that Post-it tape that I've been using. Actually, double-sided tape really isn't a great idea. Let's not use that. Let's just use a little piece of this. So let's pretend this is washi tape. That'll work. All right, I want to kind of fan it out a little bit. I'm going to put it right over where our little flower is and then just tape it down. All right, no one's ever going to see that. So use up some washi tape or whatever, and then see like I've got a beautiful rings of silver on the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to pop some foam adhesive on the back of this. Any foam adhesive will do. This is the new stuff from Ulta New. It is very, 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 very sticky. Let me back up a little bit here. Okay, so it's 1/2 inch foam adhesive. Like I said, very sticky. You can break it with your hands, but sometimes it likes to pull a little bit. But like I said, it's very sticky, so once you've got it down, you're not getting it back up. I'm going to take just a little piece. And it hasn't been gumming up my scissors too much. You know how sometimes you cut adhesive foam and it gums up your scissors? This has not done that, so that's good. All right, so I got some behind those flowers that are extending out. All right, so we pop off our foams here. And this card's almost done. All right. Okay, so we know that Ruby wants to work a little bit more on her turning. Anyone else have success or not success on their turning? Oh, I forgot to do the little dots. We'll add those. And says thumbs up. So you had a good experience with your first turn. Good. Okay, so there are little dots right here that I totally forgot to add. Of course, I would always recommend putting these on before you put the foam and all that stuff, but I forgot. So I wanted to add in a little bit of something because this just felt like a lot of white space. So I thought I'd add some complementary dots just to kind of fill it out a little bit, right? You could add self-sticking gems, but I am going to add in some sequins. So, you know. Sounds good. Oh, Cece's going to do her first Christmas cards of the year. Nancy is doing a whole bunch of birthday cards. Excellent. Where is my... Oh, no. Oh, here they are. Okay, so this mix is the Catherine Pooler Cincinnati Sequin Mix. And it's got so many cool little bits in it. I thought a lot of the colors looked really complimentary. So, and I only have, I think, a couple more of these. The big purple ones, they're gorgeous. And then I'll add in one of these copper discs. Here. And then did you know, if I can find one, that you can glue seed beads to a project too? I mean, they look stunning. These little like pops of color. And these seed beads in here are, they're brown with an iridescent on them. They're gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Put my seed bead there. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see me. Whoops. I always do that the wrong way. Why do I do that? Okay. So I'm using my On Point glue because I have a ton of this. I will be using it forever. And my first one I'll put up here. So this is kind of the same concept, even though I'm using the seed bead for the smallest sequin. It's the same concept. So this is my medium-sized sequin. And then I've got my large sequin here. All right. And then with the large one, I always pair my smallest element. So I just need like a little dab of this glue. And then my seed bead is just going to go right in it. So this is my sequins or my embellishment trio, 1, 2, 3, always in a little triangle and usually pretty tight. Like I keep my small sequins and my large sequins very close to, pretty close together. and then the third one out far enough that it makes just the tightest of triangles. All right, and that really is like my formula for embellishment success. Use 3 different sizes, make them in a triangle, put the largest and the smallest together, and you'll have a perfect look every time. I guarantee it. Let's see, so Ms. Tamp said she just finished turning hers. Do the images overlap in some parts? So what I found, they shouldn't overlap at all. However, if you happen to have your stamp misaligned just slightly, you see there, I have like just the tiniest bit of overlap. That can happen. See, there's a little bit of tiny overlap there and up there. It's the same spot. You see, it's those two, the flower and the leaf, and then the flower and the leaf. So every time I've turned it, I ended up with the same problem. So yeah, if it's not quite lined up exactly perfect, especially with this one, because it is so full of foliage and everything, you might have a little bit of overlap, but it shouldn't be a lot, and it should look okay if that happens. All right. Yours looks so much fuller, like your images look more full, or just that like the whole space is full. I would say that, so this one I used my ink, my full-size ink pads, and you see how the color is a little different. My full-size ink pads were much juicier than my little cubes. So that could be a difference. Maybe your cubes are really juicy. And see this one, I gave you that tip about making sure that the all of this is laid down and that there wasn't an air bubble. In my first, this one that I did, there was an air bubble in there. And let me see if I can show you where it is. You see? And so when I turned, I kept getting this little mark here from whatever color was going around. And that's because I had a little air bubble there. So I had to kind of be careful about that. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, squished, maybe just too much ink, or they got pushed too hard, you know, typical stamping things. So working with the inks that have the firm foam, you are going to get different coverage. It's very easy to squish a firm foam pad and get a dark, to get more of a squished look. So like, for example, this guy here. I mean, if you tap, 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 and then stamp, you get a nice look here. But if you squish, you might get more of a squishy look. All right, that one, you can't tell. There's a little bit of a difference between this one and that one. But yeah, if they're really juicy, it's really easy to over ink your pads. So definitely just tap, tap, tap. My friend Lydia Fiedler, she says, tap, tap, tap the bunny rabbit. Don't squish, squish, squish the bug. And that is, that's how, especially with the firm foam, that's how you want to use those. You squished. You might have squished. All right, that's it, guys. That is it. We are almost at the top of the hour. We made a beautiful card. We learned how to use our Concord and 9th turnabouts. And yeah, we are on our way to having some fun with a great stamp set. Oh, and you know what I didn't do? Why didn't you guys tell me? I just used the wrong glue. That's okay. The Catherine Pooler mix here has some really beautiful peacock colored sequins. I mean, like, they literally match. And so they work really great for flower centers. All right. So Becca's going to be stamping out on her pontoon this weekend for Mother's Day. How fun. And the rest of us will be crafting. So you've got some projects to work on. You've got some turnabouting to practice. And I can't wait to see how you guys do. So don't forget to share out on social media. Again, don't forget about affiliate links down below, about clicking like, about sharing out, and inviting your friends to come join us on Thursdays for Running with Scissors. So I will see you guys next week. And we're going to have some really fun, a lot of fun with metallics. You're going to love it. And I'll see you then. So have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the weather. Happy Mother's Day to everyone that's celebrating this weekend. And until next Thursday, happy crafting.